A couple of years ago, when I was just 14 years old, I was really into Snapchat. I had this strange obsession with building up my Snap score, so I would add random friends and accept random requests to boost it. It might sound a bit odd, but back then, that number meant something to me, for reasons I couldn't quite explain. Now, let me take you back to a Friday when I had an interesting experience. Some of my friends and I had a group chat on Snapchat. We were discussing going to the mall, and a lot of them seemed up for it. I wanted to join in the fun, but I realized I didn't have a ride to get there. So, I decided to post on my Snapchat story, asking if anyone could pick me up and take me along. I thought maybe someone I knew, like my cousin, would respond to my plea. To my surprise, though, I received a Snapchat message from a guy I'd never talked to before. Well, his Bitmoji looked like a guy, but honestly, I didn't know who he was. According to Snapchat, he was on my friends list, but we had never exchanged a single message or even shared pictures before. He texted me, saying he was bored and had nothing better to do. I replied, asking if he even lived in the same state as me. It turned out he did, but the town he mentioned was at least a 3-hour drive from my place. I told him not to bother, and that I didn't want him to make such a long trip just to take me to the mall. However, he insisted, asking me why not. At this point, I felt a bit uncomfortable with the whole situation. I finally agreed, but with one condition: he had to send me a picture of himself. I just wanted to be cautious and make sure I knew who I was dealing with. A couple of minutes later, he sent me a snap. I opened it, and to my surprise, I saw a 35-year-old guy with a really dirty hat, grinning at the camera. But the alarming part was that he was missing quite a few teeth. The caption on the snap said he was on his way. I paused for a moment, wondering how this guy even knew where to pick me up. He hadn't asked for my address. That's when it hit me. I had my Snap map on, which meant anyone on my friends list could easily find my address. Panic washed over me, and I quickly responded, apologizing and telling him that a closer friend was now available to give me a ride. Of course, that wasn't true, but I didn't want to meet up with this creepy guy. He opened the snap a few minutes later, but never replied. As far as I know, he never showed up. However, for the next few days, I noticed a black SUV repeatedly driving by my house. I lived in a cul-de-sac, and we rarely had cars passing by, so this seemed strange. I couldn't say for sure if it was related to the Snapchat incident, but it did make me uneasy. About a month later, while scrolling through Facebook, I came across a news story with an attachment indicating it was from a different website. I usually ignored these things, but this time I couldn't help but stop. On my Facebook feed, there was a clear picture of that same guy from Snapchat. I had no doubt it was him. The headline of the news story said he had been arrested for attempted murder. This whole experience made me realize that I had dodged a major bullet by trusting my instincts and not accepting a ride from that guy. It shook me up for a while, and ever since, I've been much more careful about who I allow to see me on the Snap map. Thank you for joining us for this journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Goodbye.